I'm going to be talking to you about bookcreator.com. I'm showing you the website first, and then I'll show you the app on my phone. Book Creator is just a digital book creator. It's really easy to use. I have used this before whenever I taught high school. There's two versions. So if you do the free version, you can create a single book, and then you can pay and create more than one book. So really, you just kind of need to decide what your goal is. If you're planning to create lots of books over the course of a school year, you want kids to be able to do a lot, I would recommend going ahead and paying for it. And then you can also talk and see if your district could maybe go ahead and do it for district wide. You never know. And especially if you do it district wide, they get 1,000 books for every teacher, which is great. But even still, if you just plan to do it in your classroom alone, I don't think the price is that bad. If you're a self-contained classroom and you've got 25 or less students, I think it's a really good deal. For $60 a year, you can do 180 books. For 120 a year, you can do 1,000. Just depends on how often you think you'll use it. But let's go ahead and I'll show you how this works. You can use it on the iPad or Chrome. I'm going to use it on my iPhone. So give me a second. Okay. So let me show you BookWriter. I went ahead and just kind of did like an auto book. Just using pictures that I had on my phone. And so it gives you the option like what album you want to pull the pictures from. I just picked a random album and it automatically loads them in there. So if I go back, it's a very, very basic layout. But you can see it's got the cover, it's got the title pages on the inside, and then it lays the photos out. And so it can even do it to where the photo goes across a spread. You can add in a description, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. And like I said, this is a very basic layout. And you can change the layout if you want. So let's say we want to do that one. And this is just auto create. So now it's going to let you add in things. You can organize the pages, all kinds of stuff. Here's where you get to really be creative. You can edit the title if you want to. You can take a picture and add that in there as the cover. Of course, I don't want to do that. You can draw. You can add different text on there if you want to. You can record yourself. You can add music. If you have things stored on here, you can add that in there too. All kinds of stuff. If I want to change the way this looks, actually no, just kidding. What else? Is there more? No. It's pretty neat though. You can add videos into here, which I used this whenever I was teaching high school, and I had my kids create a storybook back when I was teaching sign language. So they had to, kind of like what I mentioned with my sign stories video, we just turned it into where we made our own book. So I had worked with the deaf education class at one of the local elementary schools. So the deaf students there, hold on, let me backtrack. My ASL students wrote a story. We gave the story to the deaf ed students at the local elementary school. They illustrated it for us. They drew the pictures. They sent the pictures back to us. I scanned them in. I input the pictures into the Book Creator app. And then my students filmed themselves signing the story. So when you flipped through the story, you had the picture, the illustration. You had my student signing it. You had the text of the story, which is what my students wrote and created. I typed that in. And then we also recorded the students reading the story. So you had visual from the illustrations created by the deaf ed students at the elementary school. You had visual video from the students signing it. You had the text that was typed into the story, and you had the audio, the students reading it. So it was 4 components for every single page of the story. And it turned out awesome. The kids had a blast making it, and it was really cool because we got to collaborate with the deaf ed students at the elementary school. You don't have to go that extreme, especially because that was sign language. If you want to use this in a class, this could be so many different types of projects. Obviously, in elementary school, if you want to create a class story, you can do that. I know last year one of our kindergarten teachers, her class wrote a book. They illustrated it, came up with the text, and had it published. She could do the exact same thing using this app. They could still publish it and have it printed, but they could also have it online. So that way it could be accessed through the book app that's on iPhones or iPads. It can be in the Apple Store for all different, like where you can read the Apple books. It could be shared online, email, Facebook, social media, anything like that. So that's just, the obvious way that everybody thinks of using Book Creator apps. But you could use this as a research type project too. So instead of having kids create a poster or a trifold or a PowerPoint, maybe they use this app to create a small book on their research subject, whether it's an animal, whether it's a country, whether it's a person. They create a book. This could be used for how-to projects. I know in high school, my friend who is a speech teacher, she always had to assign a how-to speech. Well, this could be used in place of, a how-to speech. They could create a book. What about a cookbook? Instead of showing how or giving a speech of how to make something, they could create a cookbook. And it could be several different recipes. They could create a cookbook for a country, cultural recipes for a certain country. That could work for various ages. There's so many different options if you stop and think about it, rather than just, oh, my class is going to create a book, which is great. But there's more beyond that. And this app is so easy to use. I didn't watch a single tutorial. I just figured it out myself. It drops the pictures in there. You add in the text if you want. You can add in sound, music, video. It's completely up to you. And it's the easiest thing. And there's no limit on the pages. You can put in as many pages as you want. There's only the limit on the book. So, your first one is free. And then if you want to do more, you've got to pay. But like I said, I think this is such a versatile app that it could work for so many different contents, so many different grade levels. I think it's worth it to invest. And it's so easy to use. I know for sure my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders could pick this up like that. My high schoolers had no issue. I think with a little bit of training, you could probably get 1st and 2nd grade to use this, and maybe even kinder if you're really willing to work with them. So it's easy. I like it. It's simple, it's not hard, it's clean, easy to navigate, and I think it's worth investing in.